Hi. Probably can't hear me yet. Now you can. How are you? Good.
You're talking.
Awesome. There's Pat and Jody and Jen. Yes, and it's Monday. I am really in a good mood because the sun is out today. It was out yesterday too, so 2 days in a row, and I'm like, oh,
Yahoo!
finally. And it's actually like, oh, let me quick. I've got two mice, not real mice, but computer, these kind of things. I got 2 of them here. I'll move one. Yeah, 2 days in a row. It's been fantastic of sun. And actually, like, I know Pat's gonna laugh, but actually like 60 degrees. That's like, yes.
I can't see. I am not in. I don't see me.
Yeah, I see, but I hear you. I just don't see you. Your camera might not be on.
No, it's on.
Oh, huh.
Oh well. At least I got in this.
Oh, there you are.
At least I got in. Finally got in.
Yes,
I have so much trouble.
it's our electronics. So I got a notification yesterday during the day that Verizon was having trouble in the area that I live, so we couldn't message. There was so I don't know what that's all about, but
I like the shirt.
who knows? So cool. So we're going to talk about something called mindfulness, which is really kind of a fancy term, right? But I thought it would be really good to talk about that. And actually Heidi kind of brought it to my attention too, because just with what we're all doing, we're all trying to be better versions of ourselves, whether that's weight loss, fat loss, whether it's just being a better woman, wife, mother, grandmother, whatever it is. And sometimes we just get caught up in all the stuff in the world. And sometimes that's negative. Some of it's positive, but a lot of it's negative. And so how can we center ourselves, be more mindful, and what does that mean, and can it help us? And so I'm going to share my screen with you guys again, like I've done it the last couple of times. I just find it's a little easier for everybody to follow along here. And then obviously I want to hear from you guys if you have any thoughts, maybe some of the things that you're doing. Mindfulness and meditation, they kind of get caught together, like they're the one and the same, and it's not necessarily the same. And so mindfulness doesn't mean meditation, and meditation doesn't always mean mindfulness necessarily. So what I wanted to do is really, for me, mindfulness to me means living in the present moment, living in the here and now. And that's not always easy to do. I've been able to do that more because I realize that the past is the past and there's really nothing I can do to change that, right? It's gone. Living in the here and now is it's present. It's something I can control and be a part of and live that day and be grateful for those things and all of that. And the future, that's tomorrow and beyond, we don't necessarily don't know what that's going to look like. We can't always control it. And sometimes what that does for us, if it's for me anyway, I can speak for myself, is if it's too far in the future, for me, I get really anxious because it's like, oh my gosh, because I don't have control or know what's coming. And that might be just me, but I think a lot of us feel that way, especially in the society that we're living in with our government and the war going on and all of the things that are happening in this world. And what is that future going to bring? And it's really hard. I don't want to dwell on it because it's anxiety provoking for me. Not that I don't want to think about my future and in the next 5 years, but it's like, I can't really control what's going to happen in the world. I can only kind of, control myself and, what I'm going to be doing in the next several years. But how do we center ourselves and just stay in that moment? So I think just some notes here, and I'll post this with the video too, but really, it's just mindfulness is really intentionally being more aware of what's going on in your surroundings, right? But with acceptance and without judgment. It's about you being aware of what's going on in your world. Nobody, keeping the judgment away. And that's, I think, one of the worst things you can do is judge people, because you're not walking in their feet. You have no idea what it's like. And it's hard for us not to judge people, but we should be accepting of people. And so if we're intentionally more aware and awake to what's going on, I think that's really important. And it's good for our bodies, our mind, and how we're feeling. And to me, if we're more intentional and mindful about what's going on, it kind of brings, like it says here, that calm feeling, like it's a feeling of, I call it like peace. Like it's my inner, it's me, and it's peaceful for me. So what I tend to do, it's a way of being actively aware of what you're doing while you're doing it. And I like to ask myself, like, what is my why? Why am I doing what I'm doing? And I want to ask you guys to do that too. Everybody that's here and other people that we are aware of are trying to live a better life. It's our second chapter. And what do we want to do with our life? What does that look like? And so always take that back to, why am I doing this? Ask yourself that question. Sometimes we get lost and we get like raveled up into everything else that's going on in the world, and we in our families and things like that, and that happens. But when we're being more mindful of what we're in charge of, we need to, like, what is that why? And I guess I'm specifically speaking to what you guys are doing right now. Lots of changes are happening. Maybe you're running into, a plateau, like you're feeling down and out, and always take that to why am I doing this? And then being able to come here and talk about it, and being able to express that. So there are lots of examples of mindfulness, and if we kind of take that into meditation, and it's being aware of your breath. I think a lot of times when we're stressed and things are going on around us and we don't have that control, I feel like sometimes I'm holding my breath, that all of a sudden I feel like, I just need to take a deep breath. And a lot of times, I know for me, and I want you guys to share too, is I hold my stress right here, my neck, my shoulders. So I feel like I'm constantly doing this, right? And I'm not breathing. So I'm just like, I feel like I'm wound up like a tight drum. And so taking that deep breath and just, feeling that movement, that movement going in and out. And a lot of times you can do this with the yoga. I tend to do this at night when I'm journaling, just throwing things on a piece of paper in my notebook and getting that all out. It really helps me relax, and so I can fall asleep a little bit easier. But doing this during the day is a good practice to get into too, like lunchtime or something like that. But for me, it tends to work better at the end of my day. One thing, this next point too, is just focusing, attention on the food that you're eating is another example of being mindful, like really thinking about what you're eating and chewing it, not inhaling it. So I remember as a
I
nurse,
was doing. Yes.
I know, and as a nurse at the bedside, I remember, if I even got to eat, just shoveling the food in, and that's a little different, but just being aware and chewing your food and tasting it, instead of eating while you're watching TV, or eating and you're on your phone, or, you see kids too eating while they're on their, it's just being more mindful, because what happens typically is you tend to eat more when you're doing those things, because you're not aware of what you're actually eating. Have you ever done that? Or you're standing up to eat and you're just shoveling it in, whereas if you sit down, you tend to not eat as fast. So just being more mindful of that. Then you're going to be more mindful of how you're feeling if you're feeling full, because the faster you eat, it's like it hasn't hit bottom yet. So the more you're going to eat. And that, of course, is if you don't have your food planned out, if you eat what you have in front of you, you should be okay. But sometimes you eat it so fast that you're like, oh, that's not enough. Now I got to go get some more. So, and like, even if you're going for a walk, and I know those of you who do a lot of walking, just pay attention to how you're feeling when you're walking. What does the breeze feel like? What does the sky look like? I mean, obviously you're paying attention to your surroundings as far as safety, but also enjoying that time that's really mindfulness. You're just aware of your surroundings, right? And I think that's very peaceful for a lot of us, unless you have a dog like mine, that's not peaceful. But if you go by yourself, that's really helpful. You can, I often find myself wandering and thinking about different things, not necessarily, like necessarily my work or the day. I'm thinking about other things, family, friends, that kind of stuff. Some of the things you can, like, here are just some suggestions, like if you're wearing a backpack, and how does that feel full? Are you in a rush? Is your heart beating fast? Or are you taking your time walking? And so there's a walk to get your steps in, like you really want to get a nice little workout in, or there's just taking a leisurely walk with a friend, that kind of thing. Is it noisy out? Is there a lot of traffic today? What are the people doing? And that's kind of being aware of your surroundings too. And when you're exercising, like, how are you feeling while you're exercising? How do your muscles feel? Are the weights too heavy? Are they too light? Am I sweating? How am I breathing? It's just being really mindful of those things. So really, mindfulness is in everything. It's just that fancy term of kind of being present. I guess I don't know how to count. So, and just, being aware of your emotions and your surroundings, to me, that's mindfulness and just being present. When I did a little research, there is a study in JAMA, which is the Journal of American, of Medicine. If you practice being more mindful about what's going on, your quality of sleep will be better. And I find that very, very true, especially for my mindfulness being at night. I have my chamomile tea or sometimes a glass of red wine, just depends. And then I'm journaling and I'm just present with those thoughts and feelings. I sleep really, really good that way. It's like all in my head, all that kind of stuff. Your weight becomes easier. There was a study that found obese women who did mindfulness practices while eating, they stabilized their weight because they're aware of what they're eating. There's less sense of struggle about controlling the food that they are about to ingest. So you really think about what you're eating, and that's what you guys are doing when you're tracking your food and you're following some type of a healthy food list. You're being mindful about what you're eating. So you are essentially practicing that. Same with your workouts and your exercise. You're present with that. So kind of always take it back to that. When it gets difficult, when it's a struggle, when maybe you fall off and you don't eat as well, just bring it back to that. Why am I doing this? Bring it back to you and centering yourself and thinking about that. I think that will help. Keeping negative thoughts away more easily when you're practicing that mindfulness. And so a lot of times when I'm journaling and I'm thinking about that, I will think about how grateful I am. I have stress in my life. I've got a lot of stuff going on personally, just like you guys do. But I'm also grateful. I'm grateful that I'm healthy and my kids are doing well. And my grandkids are amazing. And my parents are, they're in their late 70s, early 80s, and I'm so grateful for all those things, even with all the negative stuff in the world, right? There's been studies on college students too, this I just threw in there, that, and college students struggle too, just like we do. They had to go through COVID and online schoolwork, and even our kids doing all that kind of stuff, that they were like, I have a niece in college, and just talk about anxiety levels for them. Some of them couldn't even graduate with a class, all that kind of stuff. But if you incorporate mindfulness into your daily movement, it's just overall health benefits. And that goes from your kids, young kids, older kids, all the way up. Chronic pain can be better managed through mindfulness too. There's, some therapy and things like that. But I think if you, whether it's meditation or yoga, pain, anxiety, all of that just decreases, and they are able to just go about their activities of daily living, just feeling better about themselves. Chronic pain is huge in this world too. And when you look through, like at our medical system, they want to throw pain medicines at us. Well, there's a lot of things that we can control without having to be put on medication. And so, and this is one of them, is just, whether it's yoga or just taking that time for yourself. Our chronic pain is a big deal, whether you're young or you're older. Mindfulness decreases stress levels, and we just talk about stress in the world, and what happens is, you guys know that levels of cortisol go up. That's that stress hormone, and what happens with that is we don't sleep, our bodies aren't repairing at night, and that stress hormone cortisol can cause us to gain weight. When we're not sleeping, the next day we eat more carbohydrates typically, and not the good kind, because you're trying to stay awake. More caffeine, tons of caffeine isn't good for us either. It makes us irritable. Our hunger increases. We want to eat more, and it becomes this vicious cycle. So again, mindfulness, being present, reduces anxiety. That really helps a lot. I have problems with anxiety, and have since I had kids. I think it's just, I don't know. I don't remember being anxious before kids, and my kids are grown, but I still worry about them. But and I do mainly more of the kind of, I guess I do meditate once in a while, if I call it that, where I just kind of try and take 5-10 minutes and just really concentrate on my breathing. I find I do better with just journaling. That's really helped my anxiety, and just focusing on the present. Like I was telling you guys before, if I'm focusing on everything else going on in the world, that's just like, oh my gosh, it's not good for me. So, and when you're less stressed, your risk of having any heart attacks, high blood pressure, strokes does decrease, because the more anxious we are, our blood pressure goes up. Our vessels are all constricted, the blood flow isn't going through, and that's when a lot of that stuff happens. And you don't have to have high cholesterol and plaque and all that. I've taken care of patients who've had heart attacks because they have so much stress and anxiety and everything else going on in their bodies. Has nothing to do with any of that other stuff. And that's anxiety and stress it can kill you. Honestly, it can kill you. And so being in the present and following some of those practices will definitely help. And a lot of the research shows that too. And emotional intelligence too, being aware of your feelings and your emotions, really is very helpful. I mean, how many people do you know that can't express their emotions? They keep it all in, right? And then something minor happens, and then it's like a bomb goes off, right? And I think that's probably happened to me too, where you're just trying to deal with things. But the best thing is just is kind of be able to have emotions. And for me, it's crying. Crying helps a lot. I know I sound like I'm a baby, but I cry at anything now. And I think it's just, I'm able to just release and get that out, which is important. Sometimes I don't even know why I'm crying. I just tear up. It could be a dumb commercial on TV. Am I the only one that this happens to? Do you guys cry?
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. Oh, I know. And I'll just get tears in my eyes, and somebody will say, well, is there something wrong? I'm like, no, I don't know what it is. Could be, yeah. But yeah, it is. That's okay. I've learned to be okay with it, honestly. So there's 3 different ways of practicing mindfulness. There's everyday mindfulness, where you pay attention to what's going on, right? Like for me, it's every day is at night. That's what I do. Yes, there are times I don't do it depending on what's going on, but for the most part, I do it. And again, it's kind of going back to being aware of what you're eating, being aware of, what you're doing, going for a walk, when you're exercising, all that, it's that, why am I doing this? It's an everyday type thing. There's also your formal meditation. Do you guys, any of you meditate? Like where you really take that time to do that? Good,
I do occasionally.
good.
Occasionally.
Yeah, good. Oh,
I'll
Lord.
tell you
Right.
about it later.
Okay. No, it's good. It's good to do that. Even just like for me, I have, and I'll get to this, there's a couple apps that you can just have on your phone too, that will help guide you in meditation. I need that because I like to listen to somebody help guide me along, because if I'm sitting there, and this is just me, if I'm sitting and it's quiet, I can think of 20 things I should be doing in those 5 minutes that I'm sitting there. But if I have something from someone guiding me along, it really helps. And it's only 5, 6, maybe 7 minutes, something like that. So it doesn't like you're there for a half an hour.
No,
Yeah. Or an object, candle, like looking at a candle. That's really helpful because you're focusing on that specific object, as long as it's not a TV or an iPad or something like that. Stay away from that kind of stuff. There's also retreats you can go on, which really I hear are really amazing. I've not done that. We're at like a yoga
I'd love to do
retreat,
that.
things like that, where sometimes you're in silence for days because they really want to help you be aware of what's going on in your life, listening to the birds, listening to the wind, looking at the sky and counting the stars and just being present in that. And then, like I was telling you, there's these mindfulness apps. Some are free, some you can pay for. There's a few here. I have this one called Calm. I really like it. I don't have anything but that one. The other one I have is just called Meditation. Oops. And that one's free. I think Calm is free for a while, and then but Meditation is free, and they're always constantly downloading. And I think the longest one is like 15 minutes. And it just is nice for me anyway. I need to have that guided, kind of that person that just says, okay, breathe in, breathe out. It just really keeps me focused on what I'm doing. That's kind of like yoga is a lot like that too, where it's guided. You're posing, and there's different kinds of yoga. There's yoga that you're constantly moving all the time, but then there's also yoga where it's a little bit more relaxing. You're holding your poses for a little bit longer, really focusing on your breath and that kind of thing. So really just wanted to bring this up because I think a lot of us, because of everything going on in the world and what we're trying to do for ourselves, we get kind of stuck, and then we feel like we're kind of snowballing and things aren't going the way we want it to go, and we want to give up, right? And so kind of just bringing you back to why are you doing this? I think is really, really something that I thought I wanted to bring here to talk about, and maybe just get some of your feedback as to maybe what do you do, things that you can suggest for everybody in the group, or if somebody's really struggling. Remember, this is a safe place. If you're really struggling, not only myself can help and give you feedback, but everybody in this group probably has something to offer. We can offer each other different ways that maybe have helped you get through different parts of your life, because we've all been through struggles. So I will put that underneath this video, but wanted to get some feedback from you guys. Does anybody want to talk about what they do to kind of bring themselves to the present?
Well, this is my favorite topic.
Oh, good.
No, I mean, seriously, this should be taught in school,
Mm-hmm.
not high school, colleges, because I've suffered from anxiety. Oh God, I didn't even know I had anxiety for years. Not so much now, but this is the book. Can you see it?
Oh yeah, I'll put that full
Catastrophe Living. Using the wisdom of your body and mind to face stress, pain, and illness by Jon Kabat-Zinn.
Okay.
I think we talked about this once before. I took a 6-week meditation course from the University of, I think it's Boston, Boston University, probably 22 years ago. And it was not easy to do this mindfulness thing. It is
Mhm.
so vital to your health. Women run around, we think, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. But if you do take 10 minutes a day, and it's hard because those who are working and have kids, where are you going to get this 10 minutes of total silence?
Right.
But I found this again because I have an arsenal of books here in my library. You can't see them. But when you were talking about it, I thought, oh God, I got to get this book out. It's all about sitting with your breath, sitting with sound, sitting with your thoughts and feelings. And I do the sitting thing with the thoughts and the feelings and the sound quite a bit because I'm retired. So I can go out on my patio anytime I want.
Mhm.
The downside to that is I might fall asleep. But you just breathe. You listen to your breath. You count your breathing. That's a yoga thing. But
Mhm.
then you get those thoughts that come in, and you got to chase them away. And you do that by listening to the sounds, and you'll be so surprised at the number of sounds you will hear that you never heard before.
Mhm.
Cars, the wind, the birds, the frogs, any, people, motorcycle, all kinds of different things. And it becomes so relaxing. But if you don't take time
Mhm.
to really sit with yourself, it's just disastrous.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Right.
mean, disastrous. I had 3 cardiac ablations.
Oh,
Which comes first,
right.
anxiety or they never know. And it was all through, I know it was through the anxiety.
Sure. Yeah.
So I do most everything. That mindfulness to me is critical. And
Mhm.
I told you about Eckhart Tolle. He's another one. You're living in the now. You have to be, you
Mhm.
can plan for the future all you want, but the
Right.
future is the future. And
Right.
things from now and tomorrow can change in 2 seconds. Forget
Mhm.
about the past because you can't change a damn thing about
Right.
that. The only thing you can do is in the now.
Right.
So every day that you get out of bed and you do something for yourself, of course, you do have to do things for your family, granted, but you have to take care of yourself.
Right. Right. Totally
You
agree.
have to.
Yep. Yep.
So the guided meditations that you're talking about are great. And like I told you, I've been having a lot of trouble sleeping.
Yeah.
So I've been playing this spa music at night. And it's been a bit helpful in taking some melatonin, but it's only 4 nights now that I finally slept.
That's good. I'm glad though.
I need
That's
to,
good.
yeah, I want to get another guided meditation because there's a body scan you can do. I'm sure you've heard of that, where
Mhm.
you check in with every part of your body. And by the time you're done, you're like, it's almost like you had
Right.
a massage.
It is. Yes.
So it's important to do it at least once or twice a day if you can. And 5-10 minutes
Mhm.
tops.
Right. Right. I agree. I totally agree. And living in the now is something I had to learn too.
It's very hard.
Mhm.
And the other
Mhm.
thing is, it's a practice. It's
Right.
like our exercise.
Right.
We're finally all in the mode where we know now we're going to go exercise how many days a week or whatever we're going to do. It's the
Mhm.
same thing with the mind. You
Mhm.
have to practice it. If you don't practice, I go out there sometimes and within 2 minutes I'm jumping up. Oh, I can't be bothered today.
Right.
But you got to practice it. If you
Right.
stop, it's like anything.
Right. You're right.
Once you
It
stop,
is. It is. That you make a really good point because I'm always talking about carving out that time for yourself. And this is part of that, right? This is part of it. Whether, whatever time of day works best for you. Maybe it's lunchtime while you're eating lunch, or maybe it's the morning. For me, it tends to be at night because nobody's going to bother me. I have that time.
as women, we say, oh, well, I'm taking care of myself. I'm going to the gym. How much more time can I devote to myself? What about
Mhm.
your mind?
Right. Well, it's the
The mind is
mind-body connection.
it's
Mhm.
a scary thing, the mind.
It is. Well, and it can change on a dime, right? You guys all know. your mind will change in 3 seconds. It
Yep.
will change your whole outlook. Not even,
Yep.
right? Yeah, it's that, like you said, it's like having that a little bit of discipline to do that too. And there are days it's not going to work, but if you can, man, yeah, it does help me a lot. And yeah, I'm a lot like you too, Pat. Anxiety is just, and it's a familial thing. My mom and my sisters.
Oh, my whole family has it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't take any medicine anymore or anything like that because I've learned a lot of coping mechanisms.
Right.
But still, I'm just saying this because some of these women are younger, and they think, oh boy, I got all the time in the world. No, you're 70 before you know it.
Yeah, right.
And
Right.
truthfully, and if you haven't worked on your body and your brain,
Right.
it's not easy.
No,
Not easy.
no, it is. It's the mind body connection. So it is about taking care of your physical fitness and eating well and all that, but it really starts right here. And when people say it's all in your head, and you guys have heard me say this before, it really truly is. To get out of your head, you have to get in your head, but get out.
You have to get in your head. So you can get out of your head.
Yep. I was just going to say that.
And nobody likes to go in their head.
No. You don't know what you're going to find in there.
Scary.
Yeah, right. Thank you for sharing it. It makes a lot of sense. And yeah, not easy, but very well worth it. Worth your sanity and just how you handle daily life then too. You can have your world can be crashing down around you, but you still can have that attitude and that like, okay, I'm going to get through this, 1 minute at a time, that kind of thing.
And I only stress this because in my 40s, was it my 40s? I had a really bad thing happen with myself, and thank God I came out of it. So that's why, everybody always says, oh, Pat, she's the wacky one with the mindfulness stuff and the body and all of that.
Oh.
But I was in a place where, I'm
Right.
glad I'm still sitting here. Let's put it that way.
Right. Good.
So that's why I stress it to these young girls. Get your head as straight as you can get it. It won't be real straight, but it'll be better than.
We'll be normal.
Oh yeah, right. Whatever normal is. Right.
No,
I kind of feel like I'm in that place now because I'm having a really hard time doing the habits. I know what I'm supposed to do, but I just don't do it. And I almost feel like I have to get my mind in the right place before the other part falls into place.
Right.
And sometimes I just don't know where to start. It's like, I know the rules, everything's there, but I just don't follow them.
Yeah.
So does that mean I'm not ready for this? Does that mean I'm just in old habits? Does it mean?
No.
I just
baby
give up.
steps, baby steps. I say always baby steps, simple moments. Take the simple moments when you do something that you hadn't been able to do before. It's a simple moment, but it's an achievement.
Yeah.
And then they build.
Yeah.
Write them down every time you do something that's good to what you wanted to do. If you ate something the right way, write it down. Wow, look what I did, or share it with one of us. Look,
Right.
That's what you'll see. I put stuff out there sometimes. I sound like I'm patting myself on the back, but so what?
Yeah. Right. And that's true. And yeah, we're really hard on ourselves.
Oh God.
As women, we are so hard on ourselves, and nobody's perfect. Nobody's 100% perfect. None of us are. And one day at a time and 1% different every day. And so for me, a suggestion would be at night, writing down one thing, and there's just 3 things. One thing that you did successfully today, whatever that might be. I worked out. I got out of bed on time. I didn't burn supper or whatever it might be. One thing that you're
my kid.
Right. One thing that you're grateful for, and then one thing that you're going to do tomorrow to make, to be better tomorrow. And just like And think about that, because we all get stuck. And but maybe that book would be helpful too.
Yeah.
It's a heavy book, you know, but if that
yeah.
doesn't work, there's others out there that are really good
Mhm.
for helping you with mindfulness.
Do you like to read?
Yeah, I do. I have to read a lot for work because I read medical records for
Yeah.
underwriting in the day. So reading isn't always my favorite thing at night, but maybe little pieces at a time I could do.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I'll have to look to see what the name of it is. It might even be in here, but it's a little, it's called Mindfulness, and it's all these little like quotes and stories that you can read, like read one or two of these quotes, or I'll put it underneath the replay too. That
Okay.
might be something to start with.
Okay.
Doing that, where each day or each night, morning, whatever, whatever works for you, that you read that, because I got it as a gift, and I love it. I love it. It just kind of helps you refocus.
Yeah, I think that would be helpful.
So no, I don't think that you're not ready, because I know that you are, and I know what you want. And you know your why. So go back to that why. Why am I doing this? And so what if you don't check off you got 6 hours of sleep? I'm not gonna what it is a lot of us like to just check things off, like, hey, I did that, because we know that 6 hours or more, actually 7 hours of sleep, is beneficial to us for rest and recovery and all of that. But you probably did it, you just didn't check it off. That doesn't mean you're a bad person.
Yeah, you don't appreciate what you really did
Right.
do. If you don't
Right.
know.
Or you did drink all your water.
Yeah.
Because we know water's good, and just because you didn't check it off doesn't mean that you didn't do it. You just didn't check it off. It's okay.
Yeah.
So I think, we get stuck, and the reason it's there is just, oh, I did this. And it's, for some people, it's a sense of accomplishment. Maybe for you, it's more of an anxiety thing. Like, oh my God, I didn't do it, so I suck and I'm terrible. And so maybe you and I, when we talk, we just take that off for a while, so.
And if you can't do those things that she's asking you to do, I also make a little list of my daily tasks that I want to do for myself: spiritual, nutrition, what's the other one? Exercise. Those are like globals, and they get checked off every day. If I don't do my water every day, or I don't do the other thing, at the end of the night, I check off some other things I've done, or I write in, I did this instead, because sometimes you can't do what's on your list, but you have something else you did. And to me, that's a win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a win.
Yeah. Or you met a goal for your job. Like, you did this and you did it successfully. Yeah. That's a positive. Like, it's taking all those things that we don't think of as positive or earth shattering. It doesn't have to be that way. Honestly, it just, hey, I got my workout in today. I haven't been able to do that now for 3 days or something.
I did that. See how sweaty I am?
Yeah, I see that. That's awesome.
Very good.
That's a positive already.
So look,
that's a big one. That's a big
awesome one. Yeah. So it's
you're right.
It's being okay for those achievements, regardless of what they are, right? Because every one of you did something today that you should be proud of, that you did.
Yes.
Yeah, I focus on what I didn't do. I need to focus on what I did do.
That's
And be okay with that.
Yeah, focus on what you did do, because we just get sucked into, oh, we're bad people because we didn't do something,
What's something that everybody did today that they're proud of?
Yeah, you go first.
I'll go first. I went to the gym a second time today and lifted again, 3 times, 8 reps, 115 pounds with the hex bar.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I did
Good for you.
115 pounds.
Good.
Right.
So I'm trying to stay positive there, because in the back of my mind, I'm looking at myself in the mirror going, oh, look at that still. And look at that still. Instead of being proud of the fact that I just lifted 115 pounds 24 times.
Right. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes. Cool.
And I'm still able to move.
I'll ask you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Let's see tomorrow.
All right, Hillary, what's one thing you did today?
Well, one thing I've started doing, because I'm really consistent about showing up for working out, and
Good.
which is like natural now, which it never was, but it is.
Good.
Took me about 3 years.
Well,
But
see, there you go, right?
yeah. So, but one of the things that I've been doing is because I can get stuck in my head, and the weight's not coming off, but yet I'm having changes. And I've been so fixated with the scale. So one of the things I've done is I'm trying to go inner more. And so every day I'm focusing on 5 things that I'm grateful for, and 5 things that I'm grateful for that have already, in my mind, they've already happened. So I'm getting into the feeling of, I feel so grateful. I'm so happy and grateful that I'm at my, one of them was, I'm in my new black bathing suit that looks sexy, and I feel so beautiful in it.
Yeah.
And so trying to get into the feeling of how good I feel in my body right now. And even with the things that I'm having gratitude with, I'm focusing on a because.
Right.
And so with the because, it takes me more into the feeling. So it's just, it takes you to a different level, because it's easy to make yourself write down things that you're grateful for. But if you stop and say, okay, I feel so grateful for this house that I live in, because the energy in it is just incredible. And I feel so wonderful when I'm in it, you know?
Right. Right.
And
That's great.
yeah. And so trying to get focused away from, oh, I haven't lost 2 pounds this week. I can't get under 150. And I'm just like pound in my head of like, I can't get there. And so instead of focusing on what I can't do, I'm just focusing and trying to have more gratitude for my body, because I know that I've put a lot of stress on it in the last 36 years of my career. And it's almost like my body's just unwinding from that heavy stress load that I was through.
Right.
I never had a problem with anxiety until I left my job. It was almost like my nervous system came and started messing with me, looking for something. And so, yeah, it's just
good for you.
fascinating. And also just making yourself kind of like a, not a science project where you're watching how your body reacts and what shows up and just the triggers. And yeah, I'm learning so much.
Good for you. You reminded me something called daily affirmations, where you talk to yourself and you say things like, I am beautiful, all those things. And you're looking at yourself in the mirror, and it's uncomfortable, but it really gets up here. And because you, instead of looking in the mirror and going, oh my God, look at me, you know what? Oh my goodness, I just lifted 115 pounds. Like that's the stuff, right? And that's going to get into your head, and it's just going to like change how you think.
Yeah. So, another thing I want to add too is another really good exercise is I praise and acknowledge myself for showing up, doing my workouts today, because I felt so incredible, you know. So you can write down 5 things that you praise and acknowledge yourself for every day. Right. And you'll have a total shift in your
mindset. Yeah.
That's great. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah. How about Jen? What about you? What did you do today?
I was able to get myself out of the house and go to the stores and do a couple of things that I had to do because I had like a really crap weekend.
Did you? Yeah.
Yeah. I did. Friday was great. What's that?
You got up and got out.
Yeah.
Good. How'd that feel?
Oh, it felt great.
Wasn't it?
And especially like here it was nice too. So it was like being out in the sun, you know. So yeah.
Good.
I think today is gonna get me back to where I fell off a little bit.
Sure. Yeah, just kind of bring yourself back to the why, and and I think being grateful and positive for those things that you do well. Crappy weekend, okay, well that's over with. Can't change that. So now just let's move on, right? No, good, thanks. Yeah. Christine, how about you? I know you and I just talked, so I know some things that you could share.
I guess I made it through week 1.
Yes. Woo! Yes, you did.
That's good news. Yeah, and I think for me specifically today, I went out to dinner for the first time and I made a good choice, though I still felt really crappy with some of the food that I ate, but I made a good choice.
Yeah,
And
you did.
so that felt really good because I'm not always good at doing that.
Right. No, very good. And yeah, you did a great job. You did a great job. Yeah, it's weird when you've been eating so well for that first week, off the foods list, and then you have something in a restaurant. I mean, you made a great choice. It was a Cobb salad. Yeah, you did well with that. So great choice. Great choice. Bye, Hillary.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Kim, what about you?
I purged my closet today.
Oh, that's fun.
So it was like, and I feel like it's kind of like with this program and my closet are the same, where like I've been in a big transition and just had moved into this house with my adult children. I mean, all high school, college. And like, I keep like stopping to do everything for them and get everything situated and organized and perfect. And like, I'll skip something I'm supposed to be doing now for me, like a workout or something, if suddenly my 18-year-old needs help with an audition. And like, so I'm never just staying in my lane focused enough. And so today I was like, every time I walk in my closet, it was a mess and it was too much stuff and it was lots of stuff I didn't need. And so I just spent the entire day pulling absolutely everything out and, donate, toss,
Right.
and trying things on. And some things I was happy about. I tried on some. So I was like, it just kind of was like in a bigger sense, just reminding me to like, I have to prioritize myself, especially because in a few months, it'll be just me. I'll literally really be an empty nester all alone.
Right.
So I should start to.
Yay!
No kids, no husband, no boyfriend.
You're gonna love it.
Awesome. That's awesome. Good. I know, Laura, you shared, you got your workout in. Anything else today?
I drank my water.
Yay.
Yay.
That's not always easy. So good for you.
It's not.
No, it's not. So, all right, Pat, what about you?
I did a million things for myself. I'm so lucky, so blessed, I guess, because I'm retired. And I think the thing that I did extra today, what did I do that was extra? Oh, I got all my steps in because I had a big workout today. You gave me a new workout, and the people in the gym, my workout boyfriend, my 64-year-old dude, he says to me, "Does that lady know how old you are? This is ridiculous." He says, I don't even do that exercise. I said, well, don't worry. I'm not doing it either, and I'll do something else instead. But after that, I did go for a nice walk with my husband. So
nice.
I got my 10,000 steps in, which is very hard for me to do.
Yeah. Good for you. They're awesome. That's great. I mean, because we all should be proud of those things that we did, right? And that
every
single day. Yep. Every single day we do something that we're like, whoa, we don't think it's great, but we do.
I'm going to toot my own horn.
Okay.
I closed all 3 of my rings before I got home on my Apple Watch, as far as my activity, my exercise, and my stand. And I ticked all of the items off on the list, the 10,000 steps, the water, managed to get all of my, I ticked off the 6 hours of sleep because that's not going to be a problem. And got my workout in, on top of that and extra. So
good.
And worked all day.
She only needs 6 hours of sleep and I need 7.
I've been changing as I have to change your habits and go in, I make sure it's 7.
Yep. I'll get there.
Yep. Yeah. Especially if
usually it's not a problem.
Yes.
Can't be perfect every day.
That's right. That's right.
You can, but.
That's
So
right,
thank you,
Laura.
Matt.
No, you guys, so this topic was helpful.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
did you do today, Diana?
Oh,
for
you know what
yourself?
I did today? I actually got out for a walk and I haven't been able to do that
Good.
because the weather has been so nasty. And I took full advantage and it was so nice. Just breathing in that fresh air and just, finally, I hope it stays
Yeah.
for a while.
Mhm.
It was a nice day.
Oh,
Finally.
oh, I know. Yesterday wasn't too bad. It was a little cool, but still.
Yeah,
so
no,
nice.
today has been beautiful.
It's
finally.
wonderful. Yeah. Take
Yesterday I
advantage
had to wear a sweater. It was 60 degrees.
of it. So yesterday I went, I was actually for a walk yesterday and there were, and it was only like maybe 45 where in
Oh.
Milwaukee, and there were people with their, well, this is warm for us right now, Pat. There were people wearing shorts.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Oh, come on.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Shorts and t-shirts, no jacket, just.
Could you imagine me if
You
I
could have
was
a
there?
parka.
I would have had a hood and I would have had gloves and I would have had boots. No,
It's almost bathing suit weather here.
Oh. please. I'm in one every day.
Yeah, I
Oh.
bet. Well, it'll come for us too, but, so yeah, you all honestly be proud of what you've accomplished every single day. And I will put the name of that book. And then I'll
If
find
you
my
did-
little,
Yeah, get your book. This is a heavy book, but if
Yes.
anybody's into some of that stuff, it
sure.
might help.
Yeah, I
Are there
think
any
so.
podcasts that anybody listens to? Like, I kind of thought about
Mm.
that too, if there's any like motivating
Oh.
podcasts that you listen to or will enjoy,
Sure.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
or maybe something while you're exercising or walking that you listen to.
Yeah, I can, let me do a little research.
Okay.
See once it's, I'm sure there's some really good ones. I do a lot of audiobooks. It's longer than like, which I love, especially if I'm driving,
Mhm.
places, but let me do a little bit of, and I can ask some of my colleagues too, what they recommend, because I think that would be helpful for everybody. And then when I post a replay, I'll put that stuff in the comments too. And you guys throw stuff that that helps you too in some of those comments too, because there's a lot of ladies that will listen to this replay after,
Mhm.
and then they can get full benefit of some of that stuff too. So. All right, cool. You guys
Has
are awesome.
anybody, just one thing, has anybody listened to the playbacks other than me?
I do.
I listen
Do
to
you,
them sometimes. Yeah.
do you hate how you sound?
I think we all do.
Nobody likes to hear them. I
Oh my
know.
God, I sound like I just came from 33rd and 3rd Street in New York.
I watched the ones I wasn't participating in, so I don't have to hear myself.
Oh,
Hey, I
missed,
watch
you
the ones
know?
I'm not in.
The ones you missed.
Right.
I
Oh,
left
that's
New
funny.
York 44 years ago and listen to how I sound. It's terrible. I can't believe it.
Yeah, we all have that. I mean, I don't think that's just like if you're a singer. I mean, a lot of them don't even listen to themselves sing.
Right.
Yeah, it's weird, but
Wow.
yeah, it's funny. Cool. All right, ladies, I'm gonna let you
Okay.
go. Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you for
Bye.
everything. You guys are awesome. Keep it going.
Bye.
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 Night, John boy.
Yeah.